Okay. Let's start right at 35. All right. I'm gonna hit record and start. This should only take like 15 or 20 minutes. Don't leave before I can screenshot who is actually in the Zoom so I can throw you guys a bonus point. Um, I know you guys have other things you could be doing, and I technically am gonna record this and upload it, but it seems cool to at least have one day in the week where you're streaming. All right. So wait, I need to record. Did I hit record? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So don't leave before I see everyone who's in here. It's probably only gonna be like three or four of y'all, but like whatever. Um. Okay. Let's check the work, and feel free to ask questions or whatever. But otherwise, I'll just be kind of rambling on. Is this the vocab? Okay. So yeah, yeah. At the end, I'm gonna turn off the recording and tell you guys some of the words I'm gonna put on the quiz because this is a lot of vocab. This chapter, jeez. All right. So yeah, we're getting fifth declension words. Um, which fifth declension is like fine. It's not really a thing. I think that is gonna be difficult. Maybe that's just me as a Latin teacher, but it's this weird blend of the third and second declension kind of. It's not bad, right? We're going through ablatives this chapter, which is cool. Or we're just reviewing them. I don't think we added anything really. I guess technically place from which crazy term. But these are the ones that you actually want to worry about when an ablative is showing up without any preposition, and it's the ablative of means. In a sentence with an active verb, you use with, but if it's a passive verb, you use by, as in the city was destroyed by fire. Big no. Um, don't worry about manner. Time when still gives us trouble sometimes. So you're going to use at or on or in depending on if it's like at that time or in 1 hour or in 1 year or something. And then separation shows up with just a few verbs. Verbs like libero to free, prohibeo to prohibit, and with a correo to lack. Okay, real quick, let's check this. Y'all did good on this quiz, pretty much for the most part. Um, yeah. So skie bontour was third plural imperfect tense passive. So they, because third plural, the nt, were because the ba, and then known. Some people I see are still kind of wanting to use an ing ending or something, but that would be the way that you make it active. They were knowing is active, where they were known is passive. These are this, yeah, because the verb is happening to the they, right? If they were knowing something, then there would be a direct object and it would just be a totally different kind of sentence. Iacitur is present third singular passive. It is thrown. Being, if you want to add that, you don't have to. Whereas iaciator, the E, that was something that chapter 21 was talking about. For third and fourth conjugation verbs, that's how it accomplishes the future tense. It will be thrown. Um, yeah. So you got to use will and be. Whereas first and second conjugation, they use like the bi, right? Like I'm a bit tour or something. Iakie bomor, same verb still, but whereas two and three were third singular, this is first plural, so it's we. We and it's ba imperfect were, we were thrown. Not throwing, that would be active. That would be iakie bomus. Try to remember that like MUR is just one letter away from MUS, which has always been our first plural active ending. And the new car is first and singular, but it's actually future. And I might have returned some quizzes when I checked this yesterday, saying that this was, I think I thought it was present for a second, but that would be DUCOR. So it's even kind of tricky for me. But it is future. I will, and then be led. So I was seeing, like, while y'all did good, especially I'm impressed by 1.5 kids keeping up with this at all. I still see people kind of like not sure what helping verbs to use. You might not want to think of it as like what helping verb to use, and just you got to make the verb happen to the subject. Whatever you have to do to make it to communicate that the verb is happening to the subject, right? Because um, when the verb is active, the subject is verbing a direct object. It's not like nothing's happening to the subject when the verb is active. Which, speaking of which, I added these passive endings at the bottom of the screen here, but every single verb in these 5 sentences was active. So get a little break from the passive voice. These sentences are weirdly easy. I just did a set with like 1.5. They're on chapter 15, and I swear every single one of them is harder than these, but who knows? It is kind of just a chilled out chapter. Next chapter after spring break, that's going to be messed up. But okay, rem publicam magna cum spe, guess it. So they're showing us a new fifth declension word. Spe there is the ablative of this word for space. I guess you would pronounce it as space. It's like a long E. That's weird, but you know, it means hope. How do you remember that? Despair is the opposite of hope, and apparently, so anyway, rem publicam is a direct object. We have a dropped subject, right? Guess it at the end is third singular, but nothing is nominative, so we're gonna use he or she or it. He or she, and guess it also might have thrown you off. It's from gero gerera, to wage. So it's like he or she waged. Oh wait. Okay, it'd be waged if the direct object was war, but that doesn't make sense. So let's use manage. He or she managed the republic. Rem publicum, you could like literally translate it as like a public thing, but just it's republic. Republic is what would be understood as the meaning for a Roman person. And then cum magna spe, that is an ablative of manner, but big deal. There's no trick there. But like hope is not a literal thing, so it wouldn't count as ablative of means. So we get the cum in the sentence. We don't have to like add that ourselves. And it's a little weird. They're like magna and spe are on either side of the cum, the preposition that they are the object of, but that's actually pretty common. All right, number 2. So we start off with, that's why this chapter seems easy. They're just like reviewing ablatives for us. And at least I think ablatives are easy, but I don't know. So AODA. And again, if anyone wants a translator, if you have questions, please interrupt me. I'm just like talking. But AODA at the beginning, something about like this or that day. So we probably want to say on this or that day, right? And then we just had this word, wikini is like neighbors, and it's eos. So like his or her neighbors. And then our first verb is worked, laboraverunt from labaro, laborare, laboravi is perfect tense. On this day, his or her neighbors worked. There's an ablative of time when worked with care. Cum cura, another ablative of manner. Atque, don't get thrown off on atque. It just means and, or and also, or and even. Either way. And also, what else did they do? Paraverunt at the end. We haven't seen pero parare a ton, but it means to prepare. It's also perfect tense. So they worked with care and they also prepared many like things. Sounds kind of weird, but yeah, race can be things, affair, matter. It's like a very versatile noun, just like the word thing in English is soup. Like we use thing to describe everything, basically. And that's what race, rei is. What else? I was gonna say something. I forgot to make that red. The verbs are perfect tense. That's about it, I guess. Yes. Neighbors is the subject of both of those verbs. Paucis diebus. Oh my gosh, it's another ablative. Well, wait. No, it is. Yeah. So pauci, I feel like people would blank out on that, but it means few. So something about few days. That's an ablative of time when. So like, how do we add something? We don't want to say few days, comma, Cicero, blah, blah, blah. So maybe in a few days. In a few days, Cicero. Eripio is kind of like rapio. Rapio is to snatch. Eripio can be a little more like rescue. And it's one of these awful third conjugation verbs. So the E in eripiet is actually telling us that it's not present tense, but future. So in a few days, Cicero will rescue. Okay, why am I so slow at going through the slides? In a few days, Cicero will rescue the Republic. A is short for X, so from danger. From danger. All right. I gotta say, I'm mostly liking the gray background. Some of the colored letters look a little weird on it. Like the red, it doesn't hurt my eyes, but it almost looks a little blurry. It's weird. All right. Ubi and Ginua Kikitarat. Kikitarat is from Kato Katara, Kikiti. Really weird third principal part on that verb. So it's one of the perfect tenses, and it is pluperfect. Ubi can be where or when, but once we start translating it, you kind of see that I think only when makes sense. So when, dropped subject, he or she had, it's pluperfect, fallen in knees. It'll be on to, oh, it's knees, plural. Onto knees. So we don't usually translate in plus an accusative, which this is a weird neuter accusative. It could be nominative, but it's definitely not the subject. That'd be weird. We usually use into, but into doesn't make sense. So you got to use onto. That's a little weird. And then, okay, this isn't a hard one. It's just like kind of an awkward one. So stula is from this truly awful verb. I mean, look at this thing, guys. Tolo tolera stuli sublatum. Like what? This is related to a really weird verb that they give you in like chapter 31. We like talk more about it at that point. But yeah, not only is it like changing drastically from its first two principal parts to its third principal part to be perfect tense. It can mean to raise or lift, not life, or destroy. That's really wild. Why would it mean to? Totally opposite. Anyway, it can mean like 20 things actually, but it's generally this thing. So in this context, when he had fallen on disease, the friend lifted or destroyed him. That's a joke. It's clearly like lifted, like because this person like quote unquote fell, that now they're going to be lifted. He or she, or wait, the friend. The subject switches to the friend. The friend has lifted, or probably just lifted. It's perfect tense because it's from the third principal part here. Him. I love so, but I like destroyed. I think that sounds funny and pretty cool. All right, this is the last one. Okay. Monum dextrum ex igna. I guess I can go full screen one last time before we're done. Something about a right hand, right? Manus manus is hand, but they're looking accusative-y to me. I guess manus is actually also feminine, which is weird because dextrum has that am, unless I type it that. But anyway, ex igna, proteinus immediately. But not blame you guys for having trouble remembering something like proteinus. I think adverbs and conjunctions are the worst thing to remember. But we have eripuit again, where it was future tense when Cicero was rescuing something. Here, the U is a big indicator to me that it's perfect tense. Charizard is not glossing it for us. He's a jerk. But Eripio, Eripara, Eripui. So a lot of second and I guess third conjugation get the U shown up. But he or she snatched the right hand, and it's like his right hand. I don't know why they couldn't throw in a suum, his own right hand, ex igna from the fire immediately. But nevertheless, said Tommen, what's our last verb? Caruit at the end is also perfect tense. Again, because of the U. We keep seeing these perfect tense verbs where like the U showing up is the indicator. But nevertheless, he lacked all sense. So lacked all sense. All sense feels like a direct object there, right? But those aren't accusative. It's an ablative of separation. Incredible. This sounds really random, but this is a reference to a weird early. I might have talked about this. Sorry if I'm repeating. But this guy Scaevola, this early Roman dude who got captured by some Italian tribe that wasn't Rome, and he just like freaked them all out by being like, "Hey, I'm not scared of anything. Look, I'll put my hand in a fire." And they're like, "Whoa, you're a psycho," and they let him go. Weird story. I don't know why. It's an important story to the Roman mythology. All right, let me stop recording so I can tell y'all half of the vocab quiz. And let me know if y'all have questions, but if y'all are just chilling, that's fine.